Alright, so here we are on part 3 of our ball bouncing lesson. And this time we're going to teach you or show you how to create a bouncing ball using a motion tween. Our last tween here, we used the classic. And when we created the classic tween, the object, in this case a ball, just moves in a straight line from one keyframe to the next. From one keyframe to the next. That's all it does, is a straight line. Sometimes you want to be able to bend or curve an object. And we could do it by creating a whole bunch of keyframes and just moving the ball slowly. But that's difficult. A quicker way to make a motion tween that involves bending or curling is to use a motion tween as opposed to a classic tween. So what I'm going to do, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'm going to start first by coming up to this layer where it says Ball Classic, and I'm going to click underneath the eye to hide it. It's still there, but we're just going to hide it for now. Then we're going to create a new layer. I'm going to call this Ball Motion Tween. So we know that this is where the motion tween is going to be created on, this layer. Then I'm going to come down to the library, make sure your library is selected, and you should see two files in there. One that says soccerball.png, that is the raw file that we created. The other one that says ball soccer, that is the symbol, the graphic symbol that we created. Anytime you want to do a tween, you have to convert a file to a symbol. So click on the graphic symbol, and you can also look at the icons. See how the icons are different? That kind of helps you spot which one's a symbol and not. So click on the graphic ball and pull it out to your stage. I'm going to pull it and move it like just so it's kind of off the stage a little bit, so it actually starts off the stage when we go and test our movie. And you can see up here that the frames were automatically created. When we created that layer and put the symbol in, these frames were populated to the end of our timeline. If you're creating this on your own, you might not have these frames created automatically. You might have to create some frames. So all we're going to do is we're going to right click anywhere in that frame, in that layer, and choose Motion Tween. Notice the color is a light blue, which is different than the classic tween, which is kind of a purple. So notice the difference in color. That kind of gives you a heads up on where you are. I'm going to move my playhead and select a frame like 9 or 10. Kind of where the same spot is for the classic tween. We're going to move it the same spot, but you've got to select it. Okay? Instead of inserting a keyframe, all I'm going to do is take my ball and I'm going to drag it down to the bottom. When I do, you'll notice that this tween automatically was created. Right? We already have a path to follow. And I'm going to come out to the next frame, which is, around 20 there, 21, and make sure your playhead's over that. And I'm going to draw or pull my ball up, and not as far, right? Because a ball when it bounces doesn't bounce up as high. We talked about that in the other video. I'm going to move my playhead back again and pull the symbol or ball back down. And then again, notice I'm not making keyframes. I'm just moving my playhead where I want the keyframe to be, then dragging the ball there. Okay, we're almost done. Go to the last spot, drag the ball down, and then since we're kind of at the end here, I'm going to have the ball roll off. So I'm going to pull this all the way to the end, or almost to the end, so it kind of has a little leg where it stops and rests, and I'm just going to pull the ball straight across. All right? And now we have our motion tween path, but it's still straight. So we want to put a little bend in it. To put a bend in it, if you take your mouse and you hover over the path, you'll see underneath your mouth it kind of gets that half circle. That allows you to click and drag and alter the path. and you want to kind of put a little circle in it and kind of get as much of a natural motion as it goes up and down as you can. If the center where you put the keyframe, if you want to move that, click on it and you can kind of adjust that so it's a little smoother, a little more round. Here, I'm going to actually move this one up a little bit. And again, do it the way you want. Make yourself happy. And then at the end, it's going to roll across. Okay? So when we hit enter, you can see the ball bounce down and follow the path. If you hit control enter, you can test the movie, and you can see actually both of them going. And that's it. It's not difficult to do. You can control your path. You can control how fast it goes, and you can always go back and adjust by clicking on the keyframe holder and putting it where you want to get a little lower or a little higher.